Sorry I'm late. Well, hello again, friends, and welcome back to another edition of How Many Flannel Shirts Does This Woman Even Own? Spoilers, it's a lot. Also spoilers, this video contains them. Well, that was a great segue, Danzy. You're gonna be rolling in that PewDiePie money now. Also, this is going to be a, you guessed it, non-linear review, which means it's going to be light on recap. So make sure you watch the episode so you know what's going on, or turn out all the lights and get a friend to recreate it with sock puppets or something, I don't know. Starting with what I liked. The scene where Arya was sneaking around the library had a lot of good direction going on for it. In fact, a lot of the stuff once they left the battle and went inside was really good. Like, I gotta admit, some of this was really naturally intense and suspenseful. At no point did I feel like I was being tricked into paying attention, do you know what I mean? And I liked that. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun little scene. Also, the dragon dogfights in the air were super sick, especially those amazing wide shots, like, above the clouds. Now, I was really starting to enjoy all of this expensive CGI money float around on my screen, but then the plot decided to come down with a debilitating case of wind, so. Fun fact, if you turn your volume up, you can actually hear the sound effects being like, you can't have nice things. I also really like Jorah's death. I thought it was a nice touch that Drogon was there. Although, wouldn't it be funny if Drogon was like, listen, Mom, I know this is a bad time, but Jorah definitely said I could eat him if he died. You know, I've never found Jorah to be a super compelling character, like even in the books, but you can't really ask for much more in terms of the most appropriate way for him to go out. Although we're gonna get to why Daenerys was even down on the ground needing to be defended in the first place. Oh yeah, I guess I should do like an in memoriam section for when someone dies. Hang on.
In the arms of the angels, fly.
Now, while I genuinely did like Theon's death a lot, his scenes are gonna kick off my okay section. Theon goes up to Bran, about to pour his heart out, and Bran's like, yeah, whatever, Theon, screw your character culmination. And then he wargs into some ravens, because God forbid we should have a normal human moment on this show. I know in the end he does forgive him, and that part is really good, I'm not gonna deny that, but can we just acknowledge the fact that they didn't want to have a full conversation between these two so badly that they made up something totally pointless for Bran to do so that they could avoid it. In fact, everyone was standing around with bows. Why didn't they have a conversation about archery? This could have perfectly tied back to Bran's very first scene where he was learning to shoot a bow with his brothers. And it even would have increased the Bran's totally gonna die tension. But nope. Bran comes back to give him some quick validation in the most emotionless voice possible, and then he dies. Alfie Allen deserves serious props for delivering this amazing performance when his scene partner may as well have just been a brick wall.
In his arms, there's an Emmy.
Okay, here's something I also liked. The Hound still hates fire. Maybe the writers do want to take his character serious. Wait, did he just call Beric a stupid whore? Okay. I am gonna let this slide because I really enjoyed the part where he rallied himself because he saw Arya fighting. But I'm watching you. Oh, speaking of Beric.
In the arms of...
Actually, no, you know what? He doesn't deserve Sarah McLachlan. Why did you even adapt this character? Like, what did he even do? I'm being so serious right now. Name one thing Beric did all series long. Oh well, good news. Melisandre is back. What was she doing all this time? Anyways, let's take stock of everything she brought with her on this igniting 11th hour appearance. Lit the Dothraki's swords on fire, which, as we all know, worked out great. Then she lit a trench on fire that really should have been burning from the beginning. And then she goes, well, hello there, Arya. I'm just here to remind you to fulfill the prophecy of that offhand statement I made like 5 years ago. This is important so that the audience thinks this was seeded and not a total ass pull on the part of the writers. And then at the end, she's like, my work here is done. Bleh.
In the arms of the angels.
Mostly I just don't get this, and I actually think the idea of her coming back last minute to turn the tides was, in theory, really interesting. But she didn't turn any tides. She just sort of rode the tides that were already there. More like Deus Ex Machina, am I right? Also, yeah, if you were wondering what her mystical connection to the story is, or even just where she got her magical de-aging necklace, you are gonna go to your grave wondering that, because that's all we get. Sort of a theme of this episode, really. Okay, moving on to the bad section. Oh, hey, Danzy, what are you doing this week? Oh, nothing. Just spending several hours correcting these stills so that people can actually see the scene that I'm referencing. Yeah, so if you hadn't figured it out already, this episode was Hard Home, crossed with the Battle of the Bastards, crossed with someone's shitty f***ing idea to make this take place at night. There were shots where you flat out couldn't see which character was on screen. And I know people are trying to defend this, like, oh, it's for the atmosphere to make things more scary. Like, no, it's not. Clever use of shadows and ambient light and contrast and shot composition are what make lighting atmospheric, not cranking down the exposure and calling it a day. It's a baffling production choice to shoot night scenes like this. Why would you spend $15 million on CGI and stunt work if you're not even gonna show half of it? Like, it's actually mind-blowing how much of a waste of money this is. Then in a colossal move of egotism, the show's cinematographer Fabian Wagner came out and said things like, adjust your TVs, and I was there and I could see fine. It's not my job as director of photography to make sure you can see okay. Listen, Mr. Wagner, first of all, I like your hat. My lighting. Second, if you're getting annoyed that so many people are complaining about it, it might be time to reflect on how what you're doing might be the problem. Instead of insulting people's intelligence to program their TVs and making a weird flex about how your vision is great and other people's eyes just need to get on your level, I guess? What? Okay, let's talk about the bulk of the episode that was the battle. Now, I could go on and on about how Repelling a Siege 101 states things like, don't send your army into a place you can't see, use ranged attacks until you absolutely have to meet them in a melee battle, and start with your heaviest hitters to weaken the enemy forces. All of these seasoned battle commanders came off looking really stupid for dramatic effect. And this isn't me exaggerating. Melisandre literally needed to tell them several times that fire exists. Why weren't the soldiers already equipped with torches? It's like the easiest anti-undead weapon to produce. And I'm not even scratching the surface of these absolutely nonsensical battle tactics. But what was way worse to me, because if you haven't figured it out, I'm a big character person. On an individual level, people's IQs would just take these massive dips to suit the moment. Honestly, the one that pissed me off most was the setup to the stick them with the pointy end punchline. Arya hands Sansa a knife, and she's like, but I don't know how to use it. Yeah, it's not rocket science, sweetie. Figure it out. And oh my god, okay, I know everybody has touched on this because, again, I'm really late to the party, but Daenerys, if the whites are crawling on your dragon, just fly away. Like, you could just not be on the ground with them swarming you. How did she get overwhelmed so quickly without noticing? Like, was your dragon just stuck in park? Then, most egregiously, Jon just screams at a dragon. Yep. Just screams at it. I don't know, he learned to ride a dragon really easily, so in fairness to him, maybe he thought communicating with one would be easy too? I don't understand how anyone can root for this character to take the Iron Throne. He's either being an incompetent idiot who succeeds because the plot says he gets to, or he's sitting in the back mouth-breathing, contributing not a single interesting thing to this story. Alright, for the really bad, let's break down that conversation between Sansa and Tyrion. I thought this started out pretty fine, with Tyrion pacing around, wishing that he was up at the battle so he could come up with a solution. And then Sansa makes a pretty poignant point. One of the hardest truths to accept is that, regardless of your skills or talents, sometimes you're just going to be powerless to stop something bad from happening. And I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a conversation about life and human anxiety that audiences can even relate to in their real lives. Maybe Sansa will show off her amazing leadership skills and try to keep everyone calm like she did at the Blackwater. Nope! He brings up their former marriage apropos of nothing, and the writers take the opportunity to fanboy all over Tyrion at the expense of every other character in the room. Are we honestly meant to take away from this that Tyrion and Sansa would not only be down to remarry, but also can't because Daenerys wouldn't like it? None of this dialogue is in character or makes any sense. They had this teed up to be such a great scene, But it devolved, as it always does, into this complete non-versation where everybody's wants and motivations just change on a whim. How are your instincts for writing these characters so out of touch? Anyways, I'm gonna make my final thoughts a little bit different this week and sort of bring the lights down, so to speak. Not that much. Keep it in your pants, Wagner. And just get a little bit more serious and talk about that ending. First of all, did I like it? No, but I wasn't surprised, and I can even tell you exactly how we got here. Arya killing the Night King was a very safe choice. I think they sat down and looked at a bunch of endings and picked this one as the one that would appeal the most to casual fans. And when I say casual fans, I mean people who sit down to watch this show once a week and then forget about it. Like, they either don't really know or don't really care that it's just sort of generally accepted that the Night King is very entwined with the series lore and not just a very, very powerful bad guy. But like it or not, that is most people that watch this show, who the showrunners do not want to risk alienating with something like complex time travel theories, or deep dives into several millennia-long in-universe history. Now, if you're someone who did feel let down by this, then you're in the right place for wanting more from the media that you consume. Please don't let anyone, including me, ever make you feel dumb about liking a story, okay? I really want to stress that because I genuinely don't want what I'm about to say to come off like a smug I told you so. But if people were hoping for some sort of epic finale with a crazy, twisty-turny end to the Night King, they were never gonna get it from these two, and I'm not sure what they expected. If you're sad that a multifaceted and really interesting YouTube theory video about the Night King didn't come true, it's probably because the person who made it puts a lot more thought into this story than the showrunners do. Like, D&D have been phoning this in for years. They gave a fan-servicey ending to this plotline because it's easy, and every critic and their mother has failed to not heap praise on them for it so far. And if you fail to hold media creators to that high standard, writers, like every writer, not just D&D, will get complacent every time. But I'm gonna wrap it up for now because I want to talk a lot more about this in my end of season review. Anyways, I guess the alternative to all this is that this isn't the end of the undead, and all of this was just a huge fake out for the real conclusion with the evil beyond the wall. But I mean, in what space do they have time left to tackle that? There's 3 episodes left, and they're already gonna need every minute of that runtime to wrap up everything in King's Landing. I mean, I guess they could, but that would make for a pretty bloated mess. Okay, moving swiftly on from that, let's talk about Bingo. Theon will not be having his boss battle with Euron, but if I'm being honest, I think they made the right choice here. Likewise for the Dothraki, who died without knowing the loving friendship of the wildlings. Also, Undead Summer did not fight Ghost, because Ghost didn't do anything. Thanks, I hate it. However, we definitely got Dragons of Ice and Fire, Undead fan faves, and I'm pretty sure I saw Whites go down just by, like, having their heads smacked against walls and stuff. I don't know, someone with Fabian Wagner night vision, correct me if I'm wrong. Was there a secret in the Winterfell crypts? You know what? It was apparently a secret to the characters that they put dead bodies in crypts, so I'm gonna let this one slide. Yeah, I'm gonna count it. Man, halfway through the season already, and we're getting close to some bingos. If you would like to hear more late 90s ballads come out of my mouth, and to get me a better costume budget, please consider becoming a patron. You can even get your name in the credits, and actually, it doesn't even have to be your real name. Like, if your registered Patreon name was something like Danzy was wrong, Khal Drogo would totally beat the mountain in a fight, I would then be legally obligated to put that at the end of every video. Every time. Forever. So sign up now and please use this new power I've given you responsibly. Now, making sure you don't miss new videos is as easy as killing the Night King. Make sure you slam dunk a Valyrian knife into the subscribe button, but then drop it down into your other hand and stab that bell, because that's the important part. Boom. I'll see you next week, friends. That really hurt. Okay, I thought it was pretty funny when Arya tried to, like, crowd surf / roll down a staircase full of whites and then messed up and fell. It's like when a friend tries to skateboard off the roof. Woo! Yeah, bro, do it! And then the rest of your afternoon is spent in the emergency wing.
In the arms of the angel.
Honestly, this episode was pretty light on deaths. Like, I think even the Battle of Hogwarts pulled the plug on more people. Also, did anyone else think the Night King just looked incredibly silly? He was strutting around mugging into the camera like he was listening to Uptown Funk on his iPod. Oh man, someone who doesn't care about getting a copyright strike on their channel, upload a video of that and then give me credit. Just like clip this and put it at the start. Malighting.